China's economy is in a downturn, and even the wallets of the rich are feeling the pinch. Luxury items and premium cars, once in high demand, are no longer moving. Take German luxury car maker Porsche, for instance, which has seen a dramatic 29% drop in sales in China over the first 3 quarters. In response, they've launched a cost-cutting initiative involving closing dealerships and laying off staff, which has become major news in the automotive sector. On December 17th, the news of extensive layoffs at Porsche China went viral. Reports indicate that 10% of full-time staff and 30% of outsourced workers will be let go. Moreover, Porsche aims to shrink its dealership network in China from 154 to around 100 by 2026. Yet the spotlight isn't on the layoffs themselves, but on the generous compensation packages. Reports state both full-time and outsourced staff will be receiving N plus 6 months of pay, with N being the years of service. Calculations suggest that an employee with over a decade at the company might get over £1,000,000. This news left many stunned, sparking a flurry of sarcastic and skeptical comments across social media. Porsche is really pushing the envelope. Not only are they laying off 10% of their workforce in China, but they're also offering an N plus 6 severance package. What does that even mean? Someone working at Porsche for 1 year could leave with 7 months' salary? Isn't this just inflating wages and disrupting market order? How are other brands and local manufacturers supposed to compete with that? Keep this up, and you'll be swimming in job applications.
Bad news. Porsche's laying off workers. Good news, it's compensating with N plus 6. For someone earning 20,000 yuan a month and working 10 years, that's 320,000 yuan in compensation. Isn't this outright market disruption? You are making some domestic brands and struggling companies look bad, especially those who can't even pay Social Security in November. My suggestion? Boycott them.
While these bloggers critiqued Porsche, they were actually taking a jab at how some Chinese manufacturers handle layoffs, offering no compensation. The other brand they hinted at is probably Jiyue Auto, which just declared bankruptcy. On December 11, Jiyue Auto suddenly ceased its operations, closing all dealerships and leaving thousands without work. This year, they ambitiously grew their network to 140 stores with plans for 250. Unfortunately, some of these new stores shut down almost immediately after opening, leaving new hires jobless and without pay, bonuses, or Social Security. To add insult to injury, some of these employees had just switched from Porsche to Jiyue, only to be swept up in this turmoil. Over the past few days, Jiyue's employees, customers, and suppliers have been protesting to demand justice, yet no resolution has been forthcoming. The police have been mobilized to keep the peace. The difference in how layoffs are managed is glaring. Porsche offers an N plus 6 severance, which outshines the likes of Honda's N plus 3, Tesla's N plus 3, and Toyota's N plus 4. In contrast, some Chinese companies are slammed for their abrupt shutdowns, leaving workers clueless and uncompensated. This stark contrast leaves nationalistic Chinese netizens who often preach patriotism in a very awkward position. A Chinese commentator offered a more cynical take, framing Porsche's high compensation as a capitalist trap.
网传保时捷裁员给出了 N+6 的赔偿，兄弟们。
There are rumors online that Porsche's layoffs come with an N plus 6 severance package. Guys, at this crucial time, we need to stay alert and fortify our defenses. This is clearly just another capitalist trap.
保时捷这次的闭店裁员也
Porsche's latest round of store closures and layoffs clearly shows that China's electric vehicles have moved from merely chipping away at the low-end market to now challenging the high-end market, which foreign brands once dominated. All year, foreign brands have been closing shops and laying off staff, proving they can't keep up with our EVs anymore. Moreover, this year's reports on severance packages ranging from N plus 1 to N plus 3 and now Porsche's N plus 6 highlight a significant issue. These foreign brands are losing the direct competition. Therefore, I urge my fellow comrades to stay vigilant. Unable to win head-on, these foreign brands are using these excessive severance packages as a sneaky way to destabilize us from within. Comrades, watch out for capitalism's sugar-coated bullets. Don't let these deceptive packages distract us from the real motives. Of course, this commentator might have been sarcastic. In China's fiercely competitive landscape, where rules are frequently bent or disregarded, it's tough for rule-abiding foreign companies to thrive. It's no surprise that last year, a German executive in China quipped, "I can't compete with Chinese companies. They don't even pay wages." Although he said in jest, it highlights a serious issue: the vast differences in how foreign and Chinese companies treat their employees, not just in terms of pay and benefits, but also in respect to workers' rights. However, Porsche China representatives have refuted the layoff rumors, declaring that stories about planned layoffs are untrue. They clarified that the company is streamlining and restructuring its operations due to a tough market. These initiatives focus on boosting efficiency and cutting costs, which could mean changes to both direct and indirect labor costs. Some Porsche China employees told Chinese media that although the company is restructuring, the actual layoffs for full-time staff are probably less than the 10% that's been rumored. They added that layoffs are being managed through personal discussions, not public announcements, making it hard to pinpoint exact numbers. The layoffs at Porsche are generally thought to be due to its sharp sales drop in China. The Q3 2024 financials shed some light. 1. Global revenue for the first 3 quarters of 2024 fell by 5.2% year-over-year to 28.6 billion euros. 2. Operating profit plummeted by 41% to 974 million euros. 3. Global vehicle sales dropped by 7% to 226,026 units. Among its markets, North America saw a 9% decline, but China faced a dramatic 29% drop, selling only 43,300 units, making it the market with the largest global decrease. By model, both the Panamera and Taycan experienced substantial sales declines, down 20% and 50% respectively. At a media briefing on December 11, Alexander Pollock, president and CEO of Porsche China, declared that the company wouldn't sacrifice product pricing for sales growth, emphasizing that volume isn't their primary goal. Pollock also confirmed intentions to shrink the dealership network from 154 to about 100 by 2026, part of a wider optimization plan. He was optimistic about reigniting momentum and recapturing Porsche's standing in the Chinese market by 2026. Despite Pollock's optimism, industry watchers are skeptical. With China's economic slowdown and a worsening global scenario, luxury spending in China is likely to decrease even more. Additionally, the luxury car sector faces fierce competition from domestic electric vehicle manufacturers who are fiercely pursuing the premium market. These brands won't give up their hard-won market share without a fight. Porsche entered the Chinese market in 2001, setting up Porsche China Ltd. In 2009. This move transformed it from a mere importer to a direct subsidiary of Porsche AG. By 2015, China had overtaken the US to become Porsche's biggest single market worldwide, maintaining that position for 6 straight years. However, 2022 was a pivotal year. Porsche's sales in China began to decline significantly, delivering just 93,000 vehicles, a 2.5% drop from the previous year. The downturn intensified in 2023, with China's economy struggling to rebound post-COVID and consumers turning to budget options. Sales in China fell by 15% to 79,000 units, pushing China down to the 3rd largest market for Porsche. Globally, sales increased by 3% to 320,000 units, but China was the only market to see a decline for 2 years running. By 2024, the decline had accelerated, with Q3 sales in China dropping by 29%. This left China as a sole global market experiencing double-digit losses for Porsche, transforming its once cherished market into a major challenge. Have Chinese consumers lost interest in Porsche? The answer is no. According to the 2024 Q1 to Q3 sports car sales ranking from Yiqie, a Chinese auto analyst, the Porsche 718 led the pack with 2,934 units sold, cementing its status as China's favorite sports car. Priced from 565,000 to 1.6 million yuan, it's Porsche's entry-level sports car. The globally renowned Porsche 911 came in 3rd with sales of 1,949 units for the same time frame. Despite a significant drop in sales for all models this year, the 911 remains a staple, a timeless classic among sports cars in its price bracket. These numbers, though not complete, underscore Porsche's strong brand presence. For many young, affluent Chinese who can splurge on a sports car, Porsche is still a prime choice. But why have sales fallen so dramatically? It's straightforward. Potential buyers simply don't have the extra cash anymore. Tang Fenjing, Vice President of Media and Public Relations at Porsche China, recently shed light on their customer demographics. In Porsche's global profile, the Chinese market is unique. While Porsche owners in Europe and North America are generally mature males in their 50s with incomes around $1 million US, in China, they're a younger crowd, averaging 37 years old with household incomes around 400,000 US. This profile indicates that Porsche's Chinese clientele probably comes from the shrinking middle class, while in Europe and North America, buyers from the old money crowd. These older, wealthier buyers enjoy more stable incomes, making them less vulnerable to economic ups and downs. When you look closely at the pricing, the differences are clear. In China, the Porsche Panamera starts at 160,000 US, but in the US, it's just over 100,000. For Chinese consumers, this is a hefty price tag, akin to over 6 months' income for many middle-class families. Meanwhile, for the old money in the West, it's roughly a month's salary. This gap highlights the stark contrast between consumer groups in these markets. Making matters worse, the economic climate in China has hit these middle-class elites with layoffs, pay cuts, and mortgage woes, putting luxury cars well out of their reach. In 2015, amidst China's economic boom, consumption upgrades were all the rage, with Porsche ruling the market. But by 2022, under the strain of strict lockdowns, Porsche's sales started to tank. This downturn wasn't just limited to Porsche. Luxury brands like Bentley, Ferrari, and Lamborghini also saw their sales in China plummet, even while their global markets grew. Now, as downgrading becomes commonplace in China, luxury items are being swapped for budget-friendly options, including luxury cars. A prime example is the Xiaomi SU7, playfully called Misha, a nod to Porsche because of its uncanny similarity to models like the Panamera and Taycan. Even Xiaomi's founder and CEO, Lei Jun, has posted videos labeling the SU7 as a Porsche alternative. Introduced in March 2024, the Xiaomi SU7 showcases design cues reminiscent of Porsche's lineup, including the steering wheel, drive model switch, and semi-hidden door handles. Lei Jun is unapologetic about name-dropping Porsche on his social media and in public talks. He's made it clear that Xiaomi's goal in car making is to produce a car that can compete with both Porsche and Tesla. Maybe because of all the mentions, on April 14th, Michael Kirsch, then president and CEO of Porsche China, broke his silence in an interview with China's Economic View. He commented that good design tends to echo across brands when discussing similarities between the Xiaomi SU7 and Porsche. This reply was both witty and diplomatic, but not everyone was as gracious. In May, one Porsche dealership started a promotion titled "Buy a Taycan, get a Xiaomi SU7." While this didn't mean you get a free Xiaomi car, customers could snag discounts of up to 320,000 yuan. Clearly, the marketing slogan was a playful dig at Xiaomi. Since hitting the market, the Xiaomi SU7 has been relentlessly compared to the Porsche Taycan, another all-electric vehicle. Price-wise, the high-end Xiaomi SU7 Max comes in at a reasonable 300,000 yuan, while the base model Porsche Taycan starts at 900,000 yuan, 3 times as much. Yet despite the price gap, these cars look remarkably alike. Both are upscale, sporty mid to large vehicles with nearly identical specs, each stretching 4.9 meters in length with a 3-meter wheelbase. For those less concerned with brand prestige, the Xiaomi SU7 stands out as an economical substitute for the Porsche Taycan, which is priced in the millions of yuan. Additionally, being a homegrown Chinese brand, Xiaomi enjoys government subsidies and backing. When you add patriotic appeals to the mix, Porsche can't help but lag in sales. Porsche isn't just competing with Xiaomi, it's also up against other Chinese EV makers like Huawei, Li Auto, and Geely, who are making inroads into the luxury car segment. As we've noted before, the Chinese auto industry has been battling through price wars since last year. Even Porsche hasn't escaped the fierce competition. Traditionally, Porsche led the ultra-luxury car segment, where buyers had to pay over the listed price to get a car. But this year was a game-changer, with Porsche slashing prices. For example, in Shenzhen, a dealer listed the 2024 Macan 2.0T for just 358,000 yuan, a 40% discount off the original price. Reports also showed Taycan models at various dealerships with discounts ranging from 30% to 35%, with financing options bringing the final price down to between 700,000 and 800,000 yuan. Yet, even with these cuts, sales have been underwhelming. The drop in sales and heavy discounting have led to financial losses for numerous dealers. In March, Porsche's 100th sales point in Guangzhou suddenly shuttered. Then, on October 31st, the Porsche Center in Ordos, Inner Mongolia, closed its doors for good. This trend has continued with more showrooms and non-franchise outlets closing across various cities. In May, several Porsche China dealers banded together to protest and boycott against Porsche HQ in Germany. Their main grievances were sharp sales drops, lackluster electric model sales, and financial hits from price cuts. Porsche China's push to stockpile inventory to hit sales goals only worsened the situation, prompting some dealers to halt orders while demanding financial aid and a shakeup in management. This unrest could have played a role in appointing Alexander Pollock as a new CEO of Porsche China on September 1st. Despite Pollock's resolute stance on not lowering prices for sales gains, the market's harsh realities pose a substantial challenge. The price battle in China's auto industry isn't slowing down, and homegrown EV makers are aggressively aiming for the luxury market. A more profound issue is the evolving landscape of China's consumer market. Those who used to buy million-yuan luxury vehicles are now either facing financial hardship or have vanished from the market. This suggests that Porsche's problems stem not from its brand or products, but from a major shift in its customer demographic. In such conditions, Porsche seems forced to navigate a tough road, reducing costs by laying off staff and closing dealerships to adjust to what's becoming the new normal in China.